So him being arrested isn't really like the shocker. It's him coming out and his, I guess, reaction to it, right? Because everybody's saying, King, you grew up privileged, bro. Why are you going down this path? Now he's talking about F the police, F12. So, you know, it just, he
T.I.'s son, King Harris has been arrested after not appearing in court and some other things connected.
The world isn't simply watching right now. His breath is being held, following what insiders describe as one of the most vicious, well-planned prison attacks ever witnessed. King Harris, the son of hip-hop icon T, is fighting for his life in an intensive care unit bed. Isn't your typical altercation inside jail? Seems like a perverse storyline taken directly from the most sinister nooks of the rap game. Imagine the scene. Outside that frigid hospital glass, he could hear machines hissing, monitors beeping, and his chest scarcely rising under the pull of tubes and cables in a family ripped apart. He is no longer just another prisoner. The streets, the media, and the music industry are all in a state of disarray because of him. Throughout the night, supporters have flocked to the Atlanta hospital, carrying candles, praying, and reciting King's name. Social media erupted in flames. Within hours, #prayers for King and #justice for King became widely popular. But there is a much more frightening reality hidden beneath the hashtags. Wasn't just any fight? According to sources, this was a setup, a premeditated hit intended to permanently silence him. The instant King was attacked, the prison's cameras, which continuously record, unexpectedly went blank. Just silence, no video, no proof. Furthermore, that silence is really loud. It is blatantly conspiratorial. A nurse's whisper, "This wasn't random," shocked the internet in a leaked tape. It was a setup. He was desired by someone.
Reached out to me looking to make a deal on behalf of T.I. and Tiny. And I told Steve State that my clients want justice. So if the deal involves Tiny and T.I. turning themselves in and admitting to the crime that they've committed, then fine, we got a deal. But if it does not, then I would prefer to have the investigators do their work and to bring criminal charges against Tiny and T.I.
As soon as the news broke, the internet lost its mind. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok lit up like fireworks with timelines split right down the middle. Some users posted genuine shock, sending prayers and sympathy, while others couldn't resist clowning King, saying things like he finally stepped into the real world and couldn't handle it. Meanwhile, the Harris household has gone into full-blown crisis mode. Family insiders say the panic is real, with whispers growing louder that this might not be the last time King gets targeted.
I wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for Family Hustle. Right. That does come with some, you know, it's some adversity. It's some adversity to come with that. People get in your business.
The idea that King was more than just a victim of prison abuse was fueled by his remarks, which went viral. He was the target. However, the most important question is, why? Who requested that King Harris be removed from the image? Some claim he discovered prison secrets by accident. Corruption, unclean guards, and illegal activity occurring behind closed doors. Some people think that has nothing to do with him. It was a warning shot about his father, T, to remind everyone that when you're up against forces greater than the system, fame, wealth, and power don't give you protection. Then there is the most sinister argument, which holds that was not jail politics, was a private matter. An externally ordered hit that was strategically placed to catch King where he was most exposed. Once invincible, the Harris family is currently dealing with what seems to be a planned takedown. In the hospital hallways, Tiny's mother sobbed and yelled, Why him?" As videos of her collapse spread across every timeline, turning this tragedy into a global anguish. In the meantime, T has been observed to be fractured and shattered. No longer the self-assured mogul, but a father pleading for his son's life on his knees. His voice cracked and tears streamed as he was captured on camera outside the intensive care unit, declaring, "I don't care about justice. All I want is for my boy to survive." Millions of hearts were broken by that unvarnished moment. However, it also sparks suspicions because new information is coming to light as the Harris family is reeling from their loss. Whistleblowers say jail workers were told to look the other way. No cameras malfunctioned. They were switched off. If that is the case, then those who vowed to uphold justice essentially made murder possible. Consider that. The same individuals who were supposed to protect the system. Every moment is agony in the intensive care unit. Physicians warn King's family that the next 24 hours are crucial and speculate that he might not make it through the night. Every monitor beep feels like a countdown. Every minute that goes by serves as a reminder that life could end at any time. The world continues to wonder, however, why he was singled out. Was this retaliation against his well-known father, industrial rivalry, or prison corruption? Though theories abound, there are no definitive solutions. There is no doubt about that is more than just a tale of a jail brawl. It's about power, treachery, and the unappealing cost of fame. As the night wore on into the morning, mayhem was already engulfing Atlanta. From dozens to hundreds of people gathered outside the hospital, there were candlelight vigils, prayer circles, and unstructured demonstrations calling for clarification. Cameras captured fans sobbing. Prison guards were yelled at by some who said they had neglected to protect a young man who was in their care. One irate fan was heard shouting, "Y'all protect criminals!" You couldn't protect a child in your care in a widely shared video. The anger sweeping the streets was encapsulated in that instant. King Harris was not only let down by the system, but it also betrayed him. The Harris family's horror continued to worsen while they were in the hospital. Doctors reportedly informed Tiny and T that King's cerebral activity was waning. Despite not being brain dead, there was a very significant risk of memory issues, paralysis, speech loss, and lifelong impairment. His mother was devastated by that news. "They wanted to kill my baby," Tiny screamed as she fell apart in tears. Their goal was to destroy us. Her suffering was captured on phone recordings that went viral and reverberated through the hallways. Then there was yet another tragic scene. T sobbed and yelled, "If my son doesn't make it, the world is going to burn," as she was led off the intensive care unit. Those remarks immediately went viral on the internet, generating more conjecture in addition to sympathy. Was this an outburst from a distraught father, or was he implying that he already knew who was responsible? When a purported inmate tape surfaced online, the rumors went crazy. A tremulous voice could be heard on the recording saying, "We were instructed to make it appear like a fight." But the goal was King. They were determined to bring him down. Although the clip went viral in a matter of minutes and sparked outrage worldwide, its legitimacy is still up for debate. If accurate, it validates what many were afraid about. There was no commotion in a prison. It was a hit job that was disguised as a fight. Some blame rival gangs within the establishment. Others whisper that T.I.'s former adversaries are tugging strings from the outside. In any case, it indicates that King Harris was not caught in the wrong situation at the wrong moment. The target was him. Another bombshell was released just when it seemed that things couldn't get much worse. According to unverified sources, King fainted briefly during the night before being rushed to life by medical personnel. The aftermath was captured by cameras outside. Little yelling out of control. T is on his knees, pleading with God to kill him instead. That video shows T yelling, "Lord, please take everything I have. Don't steal my boy, please." The most widely reported heartbreak in hip-hop history. Hashing quickly rose to the top of the global trend list. However, the prayers were accompanied by more sinister conspiracies. Is karma, according to some admirers? Some think it's retaliation. Some even asserted that the Harris family is cursed. By sharing the message, the sins of the father fall on the son. One mysterious Instagram user fanned the flames. King was never the subject of this. It has to do with T, although the account swiftly disappeared. The screenshots remained live and sent shockwaves across the internet. Was this a message from a relevant party? Or was it just another troll stoking a fire? In any case, it elevated conjecture to risky new heights. Celebrities joined in as well, making this a circus. Timelines were flooded with posts from rappers and producers, some of whom blamed T.I.'s enemies and others the criminal justice system. When you play with fire, sometimes the flames reach your family, a well-known producer wrote. Fans were analyzing prior feuds after hearing that cryptic line and wondering if this attack was connected to previous rap feuds. All of a sudden, King's sorrow involved more than simply a single youngster in a hospital bed. It was being associated with decades of drama, grudges, and risky partnerships from which hip-hop has never really recovered. The Harris family, meanwhile, is engaged in conflict on all fronts. Following internet threats, hospital security was stepped up. The system failed King, and protesters outside turned up the heat while holding signs that said, "Justice for King." At one point, T yelled at the cameras as he stormed out of the hospital, "If y'all don't protect my family, I'll burn this whole system down myself." His voice was rough with anger, and his face was swollen with tears. The world didn't know the rapper. The father was willing to take any and all risks. Fans were divided on whether to view him as a guy prepared to start a conflict with powers greater than himself or as a grieving parent. And that moment turned into another viral storm. Then came the devastating blow that no family should ever experience, according to reports. Doctors warned the Harris family that they might have to think about taking King off life support if he doesn't get well quickly. Tiny fainted in the hallway after that unimaginable exchange, and T erupted in rage at the physicians. The conclusion of my son's story is not up to you. With fans yelling louder, candles blazing hotter, and social media erupting in solidarity and wrath, the family's suffering spilled into the streets, now regarded as the most tragic picture in hip-hop history. The picture showing T.I. clutching his comatose son's hand and muttering, "Daddy's right here. I'm not leaving," was leaked as a picture. The questions, however, will not go away. Who actually desired the removal of King Harris? Why were inmates allegedly instructed to turn off their cameras and turn their heads away? Was this a message to T from old enemies? Or was King pulled into something more significant than everyone had anticipated? The world is learning that isn't simply another headline as medical professionals struggle to keep him alive. Hip-hop, Atlanta, and every fan who grew up watching the Harris family shine are all being rocked by this cultural earthquake. And with King's future dangling on a thread, one truth is clear: is not the end of the nightmare. For the Harris family, it seemed like the worst day of their lives. Even when the sun rose over Atlanta, the sound of the monitors beeping filled the intensive care unit like a countdown. Every noise served as a reminder that King Harris's future was still in doubt. Doctors murmured in hushed tones they didn't want the family to hear, and nurses came and went like shadows with somber faces. The hospital had become an emotional battlefield outside. At the same time, fans are protesting, praying, and crying. People begged for a miracle by holding posters of King's face, lighting candles, and yelling his name into the night sky. Atlanta wasn't merely concerned. The city came to a standstill for a youngster who shouldn't have been in this situation. And it was ablaze with anguish and fury when leaked hospital reports showed that King had suffered severe brain damage. Probably from a padlock concealed in a Saka weapon, frequently used in prison fights, the nightmare became even more intense. Suspicions that wasn't merely carelessness, but deliberate action were stoked by witnesses inside the facility who said guards watched and did nothing until it was too late. One insider added, "It's like they wanted him to suffer."